What's going on, people? So I have two pairs of shoes real quick to kind of go through. Actually, you know what? This might not be the quickest review because I'm going to be doing some comparisons and all that sort of thing as well, right? So that usually kind of drags things out just a little bit longer. But, I'm usually pretty all right about putting timestamps, and I don't think I put timestamps in the last unboxing I did, the Air Max 90s, but that one was short, so it doesn't really matter. But this one, since it'll be a little bit longer, expect me to make it easy on you, right? Because I mean, who wants to sit through all of this looking for like the one part that you might care about? You know what I'm saying? That's why I do it, because it'd be annoying to me to sit through all of this nonsense. Maybe some of you feel the same way. I don't know. This is the Fleet Feet box right here, right? So we're gonna open these things up. Yeah, and actually, the shoes that are in this box, the Ghost Max 2, I have a green pair, and I just wore those this morning. Actually, I just got back not very long ago, a few minutes ago, really. Just long enough to take a picture, make a post about this here video, I guess. Running around in those, did like a cool 7 miles, which was not cool at all because it's freaking hot. Side of the box there, real quick for you. Men's 9.5, Ghost Max 2, like I was saying before, because I wanted to, make sure I had my mind wrapped around what I wanted to say about these. So, how to get the best glow? Let's see. Oh yeah, the UV light thing, blah blah blah. Yeah, I guess that's kind of a good thing, right? Because not everybody really knows about the whole glow in the dark thing or whatever. But I will tell you this: had I not seen information about this pair online, and I had bought it like initially when I really wanted these, that would have caught me by surprise. But the thing is, giving you a little bit of a backstory here, as much as I like the Ghost Max 2, I mean, I'm good, right? I have the pair that I like. It looks really cool. But then I saw these were on sale and they glow in the dark. And I was like, oh, well, that sounds fantastic, right? So got these for 100. Normal retail is like 150. But the thing is, the Ghost Max 3 comes out August 1st. So that's part of the reason they were on sale. But either way, so let's go ahead, look these things over, see how things are looking and whatnot. And he actually even does have like a look like it would glow in the dark. So yeah. All right. What is this color called though? Let's see what that says. Honeydew. That's stupid. All right. This right here, Brooks Ghost Max 2 Honeydew colorway. I mean, then again, maybe it's accurate. I don't know what a honeydew looks like, honestly. So whatever. Across the bottom, like I was saying down there, it kind of looks like it would glow in the dark because it kind of has that weird sort of like opaque, sort of like translucent thing going on with like a fancy sort of teal color, or like, I don't know, maybe it's not teal, whatever, turquoise. I don't know, some kind of color. And then on the upper, or excuse me, on the midsole side, kind of the same thing like you would expect it if you've seen one of these before. A little branding on the back, pretty thick and all that stuff. On the inside, telling you what kind of DNA they used, or well, what kind of nitrogen thing they used. So the DNA loft, because they also have the DNA tune, which is like you'll see on the what's it, the glycerin max had the tuned. But anyways, not this one. This one. This is the U blacklight thing, right? So sometimes you can get these things to glow a little bit. There it kind of is. It's probably not going to hold up a whole lot. I'll have to probably just slip a picture in on the community thing later. But either way, just know that these will glow in the dark. As far as the upper goes, right? The upper on these things, it's it's not like super plush, but it's not super thin either. It's somewhere in the middle. Is like the right amount or whatever. So that's very cool. And as you see, it's kind of just like the standard honeydew color, I assume, right? All the way through. It almost looks like, I don't think it does, but it almost looks like the Brooks logo thing would also glow. But I just say that because it looks very much like the bottom, but I don't even know if the bottom glows for sure or not. I think it might just be the side. But either way, so that's that. On the back end, whatever that is, I don't really know. It looks kind of weird to me. And then on the front, you got a very plush tongue on here, so that is one thing. It does kind of add to like the overall nice feeling of the upper itself, right? But if you're not one for thick tongues, and I get that, right, this might be a problem for you. But I am normally not. But I will say again, I just did the 7 miles in these this morning, and I've done a lot of runs in these, the other pair. It has not been a factor that has bothered me, even though I don't like it. When I look at it and just think about it, But for whatever reason, in execution on this particular model, things work out all right. And on the inside, you just have the Brooks down in there, so nothing too crazy about it, right? Now, like I was saying, this is a max model, meaning it has like the max cushioning. So you see a lot of the standard Ghosts. I don't have really any. I have a Gore-Tex pair. No, weatherized pair. I have a weatherized pair. A little bit different, right? I don't have a standard Ghost shoe, but they are very popular. This is the same thing in a sense, just bigger midsole, right? And also, if you happen to be following along with like other things that Brooks has done, they do have the what's this? This is going to be the Hyperion Max 2. The Hyperion Max 3 just came out a couple days ago, so keep your eyes open for more colors of that. So yeah, the Hyperion Max 2, and this is the Glycerin Max, right? So each one is just like a max cushion version of something that already existed. They come in for different reasons though. So if you want like something speedy, the Hyperion is going to be your go-to right here. Very lightweight. It kind of has like a weird feel, not as like cushiony feeling as the other ones, but still definitely an upgrade over the standard Hyperion, which I am a huge fan of. I'm saying I'm a huge fan of the standard Hyperion, right? Big fan of that thing. It's super streamlined. It's everything you need, nothing you don't. Works out pretty well in my opinion. So that's what's going on with that. But these right here, just an upgraded version as far as like the midsole goes. So if you want speed, go with the Hyperion. If you're just going to be out there and you just want straight cushion, right? You don't care about like going too fast or whatever. This right here, the Glycerin Max, that's going to be your guy. Even with like the Glycerin 22s that I have, the GTS version, those, the slimmed down normal version still works very well. They do have like a lot of cushion in them that in some ways for me like slows me down just a little bit, you know, but it's not like a big deal or anything like that. I'm just saying if you want something that's going to feel a little more speedy, the Glycerin isn't really your choice, but it has this overall comfort that like you really just can't deny. So you got that going on. If you want strictly comfort, the Glycerin is going to be where you want to put your money. And then somewhere in the middle, you have this one right here. I've done some slower runs. We were at like an 8:45-ish pace on these for the first while. Then I think the last mile was close to like 7 because I was running that one by myself. And I've run something else before. I just think it was 6 miles, and that was about 7:30. So yeah, these, but they're going faster or slower. They work out on both sides of that to me. So I do like that about them, which again goes back to like the same thing that the normal Ghost would be good for. This just being a bigger cushion version of it. So there you go. That's what those different models are made for. It's kind of crazy, you know, because like as I like a lot of what Brooks is doing, you know, they have something for everybody, but in some ways, I would imagine, and even for me, like if this was like a few months ago, it's a lot to deal with, right? So if you want like a running shoe from them, you gotta like figure some stuff out. If you're going with Asics, like, you know, to me at least, there's like 3, maybe 4 shoes that I would suggest from Asics. Like I ask you a couple questions, you give me a couple answers, and I'll tell you which of those ones is the one that I would suggest to you, right? The Brooks thing, like, yeah, you got a lot more to choose from, which is good, but sometimes having too many options can be a thing as well. This bag comes from running, etc. Picked these things up yesterday, right? Oh, yeah, I talked about the price of these, so we can move on. This right here, Hyperion Elite 5, right? So 275 is the retail on these. It's not cheap, you know, but again, it's one of those carbon plated things and whatnot. So those do tend to be a little bit pricier, and I'll show you some other ones in a second here when I do a little comparison of sorts, which is again why this video is going to be just a little longer. So what color is this? It says pink clay and atomizer blue. Oh, that is fancy. Let's see if I remember that. But anyway, so yeah, I don't really need to look these over so much because I put this pair on in the store. This was like the last 9.5 they had. I had seen a person running in these on a 5K that I did on Friday morning, so it would have been the Independence Day 5K. I was going to ask them what they thought about them, but then I was like, you know what? I don't want to talk to anybody right now. Sometimes, you know, I'm just not always the most social person. So I was like, yeah, I don't feel like being social right now. I'm already around enough people. I don't need to actually like interact with new people. So that was the thing. But I was curious. But then I was at the store the other day, yesterday. They had them, so I checked them out. Didn't expect to leave with them, but you know, they only had the one 9.5, and I was like, well, I don't want to be left out. So here we are. Anyways, yeah, this right here, the Brooks Hyperion Elite in pink, clay, and atomizer blue, right? So there's that again for you. Down across the bottom, right? So pretty slimmed down, pretty standard stuff, you know, nothing too crazy going on down there, anything like that. What you have in the front here doesn't look like it's going to be the greatest of tractions, but I mean, it just looks like it isn't. That's I could be very much wrong. It just looks slippery, right? It might actually be really good. And then on the back end, you have more of that same sort of thing, right? So there's that. So yeah, don't pay too much attention to everything I say. Sometimes I'm just saying what I think based off of a look, right? Then here, midsole, right? The midsole, let's get that out of the way. That's distracting. The midsole there, man, like there's some stuff going on there that is very weird. Because like in the front, standard stuff, you know, DNA Gold is like their new version of like the DNA that they've been doing. It's supposed to be super light, super responsive and all that stuff, which it felt super light and super responsive in the store. Then onto the middle area, right? You can't see the, yeah, you can kind of see the plate in there. Down there, like that black bar, right? And then you have the whatever these pods are here, which are very weird feeling, honestly. And then on the back end, it all kind of comes back together, right? So it has the normal look as you would often see on a lot of these types of shoes and everything. But here you can kind of see into it, kind of like how when you have like Air Max shoes or things like that, where you can see into the midsole. That's what's going on there. And if you catch it from the right angle, you can see that it says Speed Vault. So the Hyperion Elite also had the Hyperion Max 3 also had the Speed Vault thing down in there, right? So it wasn't carbon or anything like that. And honestly, like that plate wasn't really talked up a whole lot. It's just kind of one of those things where if you read enough details about the shoe, you'll know that it's in there, or if you just look at it, you can physically see it. Either way, so you got the carbon plate in there. Moving on to the upper here, very much built like the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2, in that it's like this big net, right? With a little bit of branding on both sides. Well, actually, it's a large bit of branding on both sides, but very much in line with the standard Hyperion thing. If you remember from the standard Hyperion that I have, I really like the text on that. So I like how they keep the consistency across the certain little models or whatever, despite the tier. And then moving on towards the back end, more of this like plasticky sort of netting thing, right? So it's a weird feel to the touch or whatever, but it feels really good when you actually like put them on and wear them. So there is that. Tongue wise, nothing crazy going on about that. Same as you would expect. You know, this is basically like the approach that everybody's been doing lately. And the tongue it is kind of like a one piece thing, except for the very top. Let's see if I can show you that. Like on the very top, on the inside, it's kind of like not stitched down until you get about like until about down here. Actually, no, I take that back. That's only on this side. On this side, it's stitched down a little bit in there. On the other side, it's just free flowing. So let's see if I can get that in there. Yeah, I'll get you better pictures when I do the actual video and stuff. But just from the inside of there, on the outside of the tongue, it's not stitched together. So there's that. While we're talking about it, it's got these little laces that do have the little grooves on there, right? Kind of helps them stop from slipping in and out. And then you got Brooks on the tips of the laces here, right? You can't quite see that, but just take my word for it. A little bit of branding on the tongue top there. And same with the inside, because, you know, that's kind of just often how these things work. So quick little statistics and whatever. These things do come in at just under 7 ounces, I believe is what the thing said, right? So super light, which I think is the same as the, what is this? The Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. I believe that's the same weight. And then past that, as far as like the heel drop goes, it is an 8mm drop. So you're looking at 40 in the back, 32 in the front, which is a pretty good thing in my opinion, right? Because it's not like super high, but as far as like the height overall in the back, because I don't want to be all like standing too high, like because these are like what 45 or 46, can't quite remember right now, one of the two, right? And it's a lot to deal with. This, again, you're going to be a little shorter by about 5 millimeters, but I think it's fine. And the bigger thing also being that the 8 millimeter drop is, to me, I feel like that's pretty good because it feels when I'm walking around in these, I don't feel like I'm leaning forward. Some people like that extra lean, makes you feel like you're like really taking off into each step and all that stuff. There's some science behind it. It makes sense. I get it, but everything is going to work for some people or not for some other people, right? So it's just kind of one of those things. You go out, try some stuff, see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, because it may be very different from your friends and all that stuff. So that's always my suggestion. But anyways, they're looking really cool. That they kind of caught my attention. Like I thought this was a little bit weird. I was not thrilled about the price, but I put them on, and I shouldn't have put them on. I put them on and I tried them on, and they fit great. I walked around the store, took a little jog around the store, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm leaving with these. And the thing that sucks is like, this is the same month that the Sky and the Edge, like, but the Tokyo version comes out, right? So I want both of those, and so it's going to be an expensive month for shoes, and this is only like 3 pair, right? So that's enough for July, right? I mean, it's enough for the rest of the year, to be completely honest, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, so one thing that I didn't talk about on either of these was sizing, so we're just going to do that real quick. Both of them true to size fit, right? I bought a 9.5 in these, bought a 9.5 in these. They have like just the right amount of room, right? These, you can kind of look at them in a way, tell that they're not super thin. These, not that they're not super thin, or narrow, I should say. So you got some wiggle room in there. And even this, like this netting situation they have, right? It's a little bit more forgiving than these because when I got these, the Endorphin Elite 2s, I had to get these in a 10 because this netting thing, it's just like this piece here is so stiff and it looks like it's not going anywhere. This one is at least a little bit more open. So having like this feel so confined at a true to size fit, that's why I had to go up on those. These, it's just a little bit wider, right? Which is good in itself. So that was just enough to make me be okay with it. I did try on the size 10 just to see if like maybe it might happen to just feel better. Sometimes that is a thing. No, like the dimensions like left to right still felt pretty in line with each other, but like that extra length from front to back was definitely a no for me. So there you go. Now as far as other plated shoes and whatnot, like I'm not sure how these are going to perform overall just yet, but they felt good and I'm sure they'll be great like out in the real world or whatever. But while I do have your attention, some of you whoever might be watching this, I do have a couple other pair to talk about, I guess. We'll go in order of how I bought these and wore these. This is what is this? The Adidas Adios Pro 4. It doesn't quite have like an actual carbon plate, but it does have those carbon infused energy rods, right? So that's what that black stuff is down there. Kind of like a rake, if you've ever seen like a rake, or like a skeleton of your hand. Either way, so yeah, that's kind of what's going on down there. I do like these a whole lot, right? I've worn these the most, so I mean, in some ways, I want to still say that they're my favorite, but again, there's a little bit of bias in there because I've worn these the most. But they feel really good, except for walking around in them because they're super squishy. But you can get some good paces going on in those. Then you got these. So this one right here is going to be the Edge. This one right here is going to be the Sky. So the difference being that on the Sky, the plate is a little bit higher, as you can kind of see down there. And then the plate is going to be a little bit lower on the Edge, right? So if you're one to run with like a wider stride, you might want to lean towards the Sky. If you're one to run with like shorter steps, but like faster steps, you might want to lean towards the Edge, right? I wore the Edges the other day. That's not my normal running style, but once I actually focused on like doing that in these, it actually works out like very well, right? Opening things up, and it's not like bad as far as your stride. Opening it up, it still wasn't bad or anything, but I just didn't feel like I was really like taking as much of advantage of the shoe technology. Then the next day, I'm running around in these, yeah, like opening it up and doing like whatever the event was that I was doing in these worked out very well. But at the same time, though, I will say like there are options. So whichever style you run with, pick the one that makes the most sense. But I think overall, still like for a shoe of like that quality, even if you don't pick the one that like is ideal for you, or maybe you're just like gifted a pair or something, I think it's still going to work out very well. So I don't think you should like focus so much on that if it's not an option. But if it is an option, get the one that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. And then as far as this goes, this is the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. This right here just felt great all across. Like I wore these to like a 5K Friday and tried them out at some other thing the other day. Yeah, I was moving in these very well on Wednesday night at a run group thing. I was doing like some low, well, it was like a mid 5 minute pace or something, and it felt like so smooth and effortless. I was like, huh, I'll be, because I mean, coming in at 290 though, like these are really good. I'll just leave it at that for now. But I didn't want to pay the price, and I did get them at some kind of a discount. There's like a 20% sale that day or something. But it's one of those things where these shoes, carbon plated shoes, right? They are not cheap, right? But to me, it's one of those things where for your average person, just doing your average things, like very much unnecessary, right? I'd say like go out, get yourself like an Evo SL or something, and it'll just be good. Because the thing is, to me, it's like this is the kind of thing you would break out like if it's race day or something, you've been training for some period of time and whatever, and you want to go out there and really like push it and like get some crazy times or something, like new personal best and whatnot. Yeah, it's great for that. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, how important is that to you to get like an extra like 10 seconds off or whatever the case may be? I don't know. But also don't forget that like you do actually have to like put in some work to like be able to like move quickly to get these shoes to do like everything you might want them to do. So they're not going to like instantly just make you fast if you're just straight up slow, but they will definitely like help you move along a little quicker though, right? So just remember that and keep your expectations in line with reality. So anyways, I think that's enough out of me. Quick little recap before I go closing things out. Then I'm going to be on my merry way. Unless anybody is watching this and has any questions or whatever, you can leave those down in the comments section or the chat section thing, whatever, and I'll address them before I head out. Started off with this. This is the Brooks Ghost Max 2 in Honeydew, right? And it also glows in the dark, but I'll have to show you that later, right? But either way, I am a huge fan of these. I don't really think I really stressed that a whole lot. Running slow, running fast, like this is a good middle ground, right? And a nice bit of plushness all around. So very cool. Ghost Max 2, check it out, because the Ghost Max 3 just came out, so a lot of the 2s are going to be super cheap right now. But you might want to act fast because they'll probably move quickly. Moving along over here, this was the Hyperion Elite 5, right? I missed the Hyperion PB or whatever that thing was, so this was I feel like this is probably going to be better anyway. So that's very cool. But this one right here, much like the Hyperion style or the Hyperion line from Brooks already, definitely built for speed. Got the nice carbon plate in there. Let's show you that from the other side. Got the nice carbon plate in there, so that's going to be a good thing to have, right? But all in all, very cool. I'm looking forward to getting these out there because they felt very nice in the store, and I feel like once I get them out and I can actually run in them, it's going to be that much better. But I will find that out probably towards the end of the week, I'm guessing, because I've run in pretty much every shoe that I have at this point, right? I got to do a couple refreshes on some things, I think. But yeah, I should be able to get to those this week, which is very cool because I've been, for a long time, I had a bunch of shoes that were just like, I spent like, let's see, I had what, about 10 pair maybe? Oh, it was more than that. I had a lot of pairs of shoes. I was like one a week. Every week it was something new, just run through it, run through it, run through it. Next thing, run through it, run through it, run through it. Seeing how I felt and all that stuff. Yeah, it's a lot to deal with, people. So anyways, that's it for me. I'm going to leave because I've said everything I need to say. I don't see anything in the chat, which is kind of awesome, right? From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I should have some videos coming up soon. I did that whole white shoe video thing the other day, then realized I can't post that yet because I need to post that one first, and that one hasn't even been recorded yet. So, it is what it is. But yeah, I got some stuff coming. That's the short version of that. All right. Appreciate whoever, stopped in and watched this for whatever period of time you felt like was worth watching it. Thank you very much. But now please go out into the day, find yourself something better to do. Later, people.